Hey there, comic book fans. Got something for you today. A bit of a review of a current comic, Folklords #1. That just came out this week. And this one won me over. It's a 5-issue miniseries published by Boom. There's the creators Matt Kindt, Matt Smith, and Chris O'Halloran. I'm a Matt Kindt fan in that I like his mind management. I really enjoyed in Department H slash Depth. I really liked too. But the stuff I've read that he's just written and not drawn, I generally haven't liked as much. But this was really enjoyable. This is the first time I've seen Matt Smith's art. It's said in his little bio here that he did stuff for, what was it? Hellboy, there we go. Something to do with Hellboy. And I have to say, his art really won me over in this one. This is my LCS had 3 covers to choose from. I think this is the main one because the other 2 had no logos on them. And I like my comic book covers with logos on them. Otherwise, it's not a comic book cover. So I picked the one with the logo. The other 2 were okay, but they were just, drawings on a piece of paper with a blank spot where the logo should be. So it was a little weird. But here we go. We'll open it up. We'll show you some pages in here. I'll show you the very beginning of it. And I have to say that I didn't like the beginning of this comic. Especially this opening page. Really, it starts with some... the opening page is kind of cliched. First of all, it starts with, once upon a time crossed out in, no, just this one time. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. That was the first thing I read. I was like, what is that even supposed to mean? I have no clue. But then it started with, this kid here. I really like that artwork. This guy's drawing, and they're like, oh, the kid really does not belong. And they show him getting dressed and getting his stuff, and then of course the reveal on the second page is that he lives in this really nice drawings here. I very much enjoy the drawing, and he lives in this old medieval town. It's not, though he's getting dressed up in a suit and pants with, is that a backpack he's got on too? I see backpack straps. He's, doesn't fit in, and he's out of place here. But then of course he shows up to this party, and they're all like, hey, how you doing? It's like, he fits in. It's not really the story of because it's a fantasy story, which I've been reading a lot of, and the boy or girl who doesn't fit in is just such a cliche, but he actually does fit in. I don't even know why they put the whole he doesn't fit in thing here. But the story, I'll give you the basic story before I show you more work. He's the kid that doesn't fit in, and the reason he doesn't fit in is because he has these visions of our world, world of cities and cars and whatever, and he lives in this, sort of medieval fantasy world, I guess it is. And every year, the teenagers of this world have to go on a quest. So it's his year, he's going on a quest, and he actually wants to go on a quest to find our world, find out the folklords of the title they keep mentioning here. He's like, I have to go and find the folklords, and they'll be able to tell me about this world that I keep having visions of. But it's taboo to even mention the folklords, let alone go on a quest for them. So that's the story. He wants to go. He wants to go on a forbidden quest. All the other teenagers are going on, quests for magical things and stuff, and we don't even know if magic is real at all in this because there's no signs of it. But man, just take a look at them greeting him in that party scene. I love Matt Smith is really good at drawing a lot of these characters, and he does it in a kind of simple fashion, but with a lot of gesture to them and a lot of differences between. It reminds me a bit of Jaime Hernandez and a bit of Alex Toth. So I really, it's the art that won me over. And here's another thing. I'll show you this interesting transition too. Here they are. Here he's at the party and he's talking to the other people going on quests. And I've always kind of liked this. Daniel Klaus did it a lot in the 80s, and I kind of do it too with my art cards that I make where they show the people, a variety of people kind of talking to the reader. They're not quite talking to the reader here, but Daniel Klaus did it where they're talking right to the reader. And there's another page later on I'll show you that has more of this. So I've always kind of liked that technique. But if you notice here they're at the party, and everything's small panels, everything's closed in, everything's, you know, everybody having a good time together. And then he's like, they're kind of making fun of his outfit, and he's like, oh, they're making fun of my outfit, oh. So he leaves the party, and this girl follows him, and all of a sudden we leave the party, and the panels open up, and it gets dark out because they're outside, and they actually a lot of times I find comic books, when they try to do dark scenes, they're too dark. But I think the colorist captured it just right here, because we have these dark scenes, but they're not too dark. And another thing the colorist did that I like, let me see if it's in this one. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but if you look at her face, there's just a little bit of texture in her skin tone. And his too. And that's one of the things I think that's good about computer coloring, that some colorists use, but not all. Just adding little textures to things. Not a lot, especially when it's dark outside. You know, his hair is looking a tiny bit grainy there. I like those textures added to the colors at the right time. So, in the dark is the right time for them. Okay, let me flip over to this one now. We don't want to show you the whole story. You're going to have to go out and read it for yourself. Here's the page where we get more of that Daniel Klaus stuff, of them talking right. And look at the variety in faces he draws. Variety in faces, expressions. Lots and lots of work went into this comic. Just drawing all these characters is a lot of work. Is figuring them out, and he pulls it like, look at that very nice building there. Just some nice shapes and colors. Matt's, like, this is the first. I think this is the first Matt Smith art I've ever seen, and I was really impressed with it. Let's flip to this one here. Oh, this was interesting too, because if you notice throughout this, since it's I guess a medieval type village, people are mostly in a little light blue, browns, greens, very much earth colors. So this except for when they're outside, we get some pink sky. But everybody's pretty much in earth colors, except, ooh, look at this. We see a little bit of red here. That's a little. I didn't even notice that the first time through. There's some foreshadowing going on, because they're the only things in that red. Everything else is, you know, we get a little hint of duller reds, like on him there. This is all, since they're out at night, this is all green and brown. But then, when bad things start to happen, boom, these guys in red show up. And it really, too much glare on these pages. And it really, you can really, see, we go from a little, first we get a little bit of brownish red in these curtains, as they're giving their presentations for what quests they want to go on. And boom, these guys show up, and you know something bad happened because all that red is there. And it's the first time all that red has shown up in the comic. So I thought that was pretty cool, just the use of color, as well as with the illustrations. But man, I have to say, I really, really, really like this artwork. Is Matt, who's the colorist on this again? Who's our letterer? Oh, he's Chris O'Halloran is our colorist, and Jim Campbell is our letterer, because the lettering's done fine too. They always say that the letterer's doing his or her job if you don't notice the lettering, and that's you know, I didn't notice it that much. Now I'm looking. His lettering balloons are nice. His lettering shapes are nice. Troll's got a little bit of different balloon there. Everything's butted nicely up against it. You can see sometimes, if you're looking at sloppy comics, since this is all done on computer, they don't butt it up against the top line quite correct. Sometimes a little space shows up there if it's a sloppily made comic. But this one is not sloppily made. They've got all their line weights right. I mean, and, well, oh, little Folklords logo in the middle of that one. Oh, some ha-ha-ha's. Not too many sound effects. There's a ha. Did I see any sound effects in this one? Just that ha-ha-ha? Yeah, so this one's good across the board. It's got nice nice writing, nice coloring. Oh, here's an interesting. Once again, the color. We go from the dark to back in the party where everything's bright again because all the lights are on. Nice little transition. So there you go. I think it's a 5-issue mini. Folklords, Boom Studios. I really liked if you don't like the first few pages, keep reading because it gets better. Like the first 2 pages were a bit too iffy for me, but the rest of it I really liked. And the Matt Smith artwork really won me over. The storytelling's nice, the art is nice, the writing's nice, and so's the lettering. So check out Folklords #1.